Welcome to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, ask some viewer questions. Got some viewer questions. Let's answer some viewer questions. One viewer question. 14th Amendment, Section 3. Go. Okay, so you've been hearing about this one in the news recently. Even a couple of Republican lawyers on the Federalist Society wrote a paper on it. And basically, my little Google search with the simplified answer, that disqualification argument boils down to Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment, which says that a public official is not eligible to assume public office if they engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States or have given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But there's a caveat, unless 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate basically say it's okay. Now, we know we can't get 2/3 of the House or 2/3 of the Senate to agree on anything these days. So that's an unlikely thing to have happen. So the question is, will the 14th Amendment, Section 3, be used against Donald Trump? Short answer is yes, it probably will. The long answer is, will it happen in a state where it matters? If you put Donald Trump, if you don't allow him on the California ballot, who cares? You know, California's 54 electoral college votes. We're going to go to Biden anyways. Now, if we had one person, one vote, then that's a huge punishment. Can you imagine? If you're not on California and Trump say he got like 35% of the California votes, you know, you're looking at millions of votes on there. Let's say that would be like 10 million votes for Trump that he doesn't get anymore. That's the voting population of a few states that are red in color. Okay, so how do I want to frame this? I want to frame it in battleground states. You know, your Florida, your Texas, your Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, I think. I forget all, New Mexico. Basically your battleground states. The ones where basically you had fake electors go to. Those are all the battleground states. Those are the ones that are up for grabs. And are a close enough ratio of Republicans and Democrats that they make the difference in the Electoral College. Again, if we got rid of the Electoral College, the 14th Amendment has teeth in it. Because, again, if California keeps you off the ballot, you're screwed. You don't have enough. You lose millions of votes that you're not going to make up anywhere else. Entertainment purpose only. Well, any of the battleground states invoke the 14th Amendment, Section 3, against Donald Trump and keep him off the ballot. Ace of Wands. There is a movement afoot. A strong movement. Now, you know what? I'm going to stop right now. Segue. Sidebar. I started off by saying that, you know, we don't need to worry about the Californias of this world. But maybe we do. Because if California and New York does it, then there'll be court challenges. And they take it to court and resolve it. And if the answer is, yeah, you can do it, that makes it easier for the battleground. It gives them cover. It gives the battleground states cover. So California and New York and the blue states that might do this, they're setting a precedent. Ace of Wands, strong precedent. They have the ability to take action, and I think they're going to take action. What's going to challenge them? The Lovers. Interesting. It's not the way that we've normally done things in this country, but we haven't faced insurrection before. Well, at least not since the Civil War, and none of us were alive for that. And you know, right now it's a two-party political system. It's worked. But in this case, the system's broken because one of the parties is not interested in democracy anymore. And if you have a two-party system, part of the whole reason why it works is that they're both interested in democracy. And now one isn't. So it's time to break the system. The system's broken. It's time to actually start taking some extreme measures. What do we have underneath it? The Chariot. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This idea is going forward. We've got a strong ace. We're crossing with the Lovers, driven by the Chariot. This will happen. This will go to the courts. And here's your courts. In the past, you know, we've been able to get through our two-party system again because folks honored the victor. There's a peaceful transfer of power. Even if you were on the other side, the victor got the spoils. But in 2020, the victor tried to be denied the spoils. And the person who tried to deny him basically led an insurrection on January 6th. There's no other way to call it. And he was in a conspiracy with others in multiple states to try and overturn the election and overturn the will of the people. So now you don't want this person coming back in there because they're toxic. So now we have the lovers and the agreements. Two-party system. Again, a two-party system involves both parties, and obviously there's more than two parties, but we basically have two parties in here. The other parties are too small, underfunded, and not well organized enough to make a serious challenge. Our current government only works when you have two parties in it that are interested in democracy. Again, one of the parties is not interested in democracy. So what do? It might be a couple of states are now going to join hands. Like, here and here, this could be California and New York. They join together to bring this litigation to keep Trump's name off of the ballot. And now you're talking tens of millions of votes that Trump would not get. Again, he wouldn't get them in the Electoral College. Another reason to get rid of the Electoral College. But it's the message that's being sent. And it's the cover for other states if somebody has engaged in insurrection. This is going to be a difficult thing to do because we've not done it before. Okay? So lots of arguments have to be made. This is not an easy thing to do. Most people don't want to see that type of radical change happen. But at the same time, this is an unusual event. This isn't people having hatred against Donald Trump. This is people understanding that Donald Trump basically led an insurrection. And it's a burden that the United States has to address at some point. Lesson to be learned is the Page of Pentacles. Sometimes a giant snowball that's crashing down the hill starts off as a small snowball in somebody's hand. You got to start somewhere. And in this case, it looks like there's going to be two states that are going to join in on this to try and get a movement going. Outcome, 7 of Cups, illusions and delusions. There's going to be a lot of arguments made about this, about the breaking of norms and the consequences of this. But at the same time, there's a moral obligation to honor the Constitution. And yeah, it's going to break the norms, the social norms that we're used to. But the social norms aren't there. You cannot assume they are. We're in Crazy Town right now. And Crazy Town because one person refused to give up power. Like every other person had ever since. And led an insurrection on this. Okay. So. I think a couple of states will do it. I'm assuming they're going to be big states. And I want to find out if any battleground states will do it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But the battleground states are the ones that will have the most consequence in the election. Any battleground states? Invoke the 14th Amendment, Section 3 against Donald Trump. Or others. He's not the only one. There are a number of senators and congressional people that were involved in this. You know what I mean? Josh Hawley. You know what I mean? Chuck Grassley. You know what I mean? Jim Jordan. Ted Cruz. Amongst others. 14th Amendment. Well, any battleground states invoke the 14th Amendment against President Trump. Going forward with that message, with that offer, things of value, crossroads. There'll be a push. You might have to, again, there might be fundraising that goes with this. They'll look at the finances of it. They'll look at the value. Basically, they're going to look at the value. Is there value in doing this? And they're at a crossroads because there's going to be a lot of pros and cons with this. And it's going to take great strength to make the moral and ethical choice. And if there's one thing about some politicos, they don't have a spine. They have a spine made of rubber as opposed to a spine made of steel. They won't necessarily do the right thing because they're worried that they may not get reelected. In the past, the Four of Wands, again, normally you have a peaceful transfer of power. When the new person comes in, they're greeted, and you change the power, and everything's fine. That didn't happen then. Current situation is the Magician. Trying to manifest. This is, to me, this is being honest with yourself. This is truly being honest with yourself and saying, this happened. This wasn't a figment of our imagination. We watched the insurrection happen, and this is your time to make your place in history and stand for the Constitution, if you believe it's the moral and ethical thing to do. Page of Wands. Brand new territory. You're an uncharted territory here. And again, part of the problem when you're in uncharted territory is you don't know what's going to happen. You have to brave it, and it requires having courage. And courage is not always the thing that congressional people are known for. There's going to be a lot of money thrown at battleground states to prevent this from happening. There will be a lot of efforts made towards battleground states to make it happen. So a lot of money is going to go into battleground states and into campaigns trying to decide if Donald Trump will be hit with the 14th Amendment, Section 3. Outcome is temperance. Interesting. It might be that they may not do it for Trump, but they might do it for others. Some states might be able to figure it out and get it in there before the election. Maybe some states, want to decide after. I don't know. Temperance is usually such a nice card. It's removing toxicity. It's integration. I just have a hard time. I have a hard time with the Strength card. I have a hard time believing that there's going to be a battleground state that's going to show the courage to actually do this. So, 14th Amendment, Section 3. Will any battleground states do it? They should. I don't know if they will, though. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that they will. How about that? I will be impressed if any battleground states do it. I will be very impressed if any of them do it. I'll leave it at that. There's something else I want to throw in as I was thinking about that. I kind of want to throw it. I should have thrown clarifiers on that. On the Temperance card. What else do I want to ask about this? It'll be challenged in courts. If they do it, it'll be challenged in courts. And if it gets challenged in courts, some might try it. It'll get challenged in courts, and then they won't be able to implement it because courts will put a stay on it. and then the courts will decide later on that they were right to do it. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay. I'm not going to throw any more on this one. Man, why did I want to come down at this time of history? This is stressful. I'm sorry. Okay, well, we're here anyways. Not much we can do about it. Thank you for watching this video and supporting me on it, and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for the likes and shares and comments that you leave. Welcome to the new subscribers, and thanks for the old subscribers for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.